Hey everyone, and welcome. So let's talk about something that drives so many investors absolutely crazy. You do all the work, you find the perfect company, and you still somehow lose money on the trade. It's maddening, right? Well, it turns out the problem often isn't what you buy, it's how you manage it. Today, we're going to dig into a really systematic way to handle that using a tool called TradeForge Alpha.
I mean, let's just park on this for a second, because this is the big one, isn't it? It's the question that probably keeps a lot of us up at night. You spent hours, maybe days doing your research. You find this incredible company, you pull the trigger, you buy the stock, and then you watch it go against you. How does that happen? It's this super common, super frustrating story. And the answer, believe it or not, isn't really on the stock chart. It's in our own minds.
And right there, that's the absolute heart of the issue. You got to understand, the market is a master psychologist. It is designed to play on our deepest emotions, fear, greed, that little bit of hope that gets you into trouble. And if you don't have a solid, rule-based system acting as your shield, what happens? We fall back on our gut. We trade on instinct. And let me tell you, that's a battle you are almost guaranteed to lose against the cold, hard logic of the market. Okay, be honest. Does this one feel a little familiar? I'm betting it does. This is probably one of the biggest emotional traps out there. A stock starts to drop, and what's the first thing we think? Oh, it's on sale, time to average down. But here's the dangerous part. Without a real plan, all you're doing is catching a falling knife. You're just throwing good money after bad. And your risk is actually going up with every single buy.
And then there's this one, the classic, no stop loss. We just hate taking a small loss, don't we? It feels like admitting we were wrong. So we hold on, just hoping, praying it'll turn around. We let that one losing position just keep running. And before you know it, that single undisciplined trade has completely wiped out weeks, maybe even months of your hard-earned gains. It is absolutely devastating. And the worst part, it's completely preventable.
And finally, the last big mistake, I call this the conviction gamble. You know the feeling. You were just so sure about a stock. This is the one. So what do? You go all in. You bet the farm. Your position size is based on pure excitement, not on any kind of math or risk management. And let's be clear, at that point, you're not investing anymore. You're gambling. And that is a guaranteed way to destroy your portfolio over the long run.
Okay, so if we all agree that the problem is emotion, that it's this undisciplined, gut-feel trading, then the solution has to be the exact opposite, right? It has to be a system that forces you to be disciplined. This is where we start talking about a rule engine for your investing. Think of it as the perfect antidote to all that emotional chaos.
And this quote, where capital meets discipline. Man, that really just nails it, doesn't it? It's all about building that bridge between the money you're putting to work, your capital, and the strict rules you need to actually protect it and make it grow. It's about replacing all that guesswork with a repeatable process.
So how does it actually do that? Well, the whole system is really built on these four core ideas. You've got risk-layered entries, which we'll get into. It's built to put discipline over emotion. It helps you control how much you put into any one sector, and it gives you cold, hard data on how you're actually doing. Really, it's about changing your mindset from, well, I think the stock will go up to, this system requires me to do this. That's a huge shift.
All right, so let's get into the actual mechanics here, the real engine of this thing. Instead of just jumping in with both feet, TradeForge uses something called the 5-tranche system. The whole idea is simple. You build your position brick by brick, systematically, and, this is the key, only as the trade proves you right. So, let's just walk through this. Tranche 1, or T1, that's your starting position. This first little bit sets your entire risk budget for the whole trade. Then T2, you only add this second piece if the stock is moving in your favor, and you move your stop loss up at the same time. Now T3, this is the magic moment. This is when your stop loss moves up to your average entry price. Your capital is now totally protected. From this point on, you literally can't lose money. You're on a risk-free ride. T4 and T5 are all about profit, trailing your stop up to catch as much of the trend as you can.
I really want to stop here for a second because this is so important. That tranche 3, that's the whole game right there. That's the aha moment. The entire goal when you first enter a trade is just to get to T3, because that's the point where you flip a switch. You go from taking a calculated risk to being on a totally free ride. Getting to break even is the name of the game.
And that really gets to the core philosophy here. We're talking about capital protection by design. It's not just something you hope for, it's literally engineered into the process. And the real power behind it is the automation, because the system does it for you, without any of that hesitation or emotion that gets us into trouble.
And this is what makes it so different. The system is doing all the heavy lifting, all the math for you. Every time you add a new piece, a new tranche, it automatically figures out exactly where your new stop loss needs to go to make sure that the total amount of money you risk on the trade never ever increases. Think about that. You are adding to a winning position without adding a single extra rupee of risk. It's a game changer.
I love this because it just lays it all out so clearly. It's a tale of two trades, right? Before you hit T3, your job is simple: defense. Your one and only focus is managing that initial predefined risk. But the second you cross that T3 line, your job flips. It's all offense now. Risk is gone. It's off the table. Your new job is just to maximize your profits. It's a simple two-stage process, and the system is there to walk you through it.
So, when you put all this together, what does it actually mean for you? Well, it's a complete transformation in how you interact with the market. You stop being that reactive, emotional trader who's always on their back foot. Instead, you become a proactive, systematic operator who's in control.
And look, getting started with this kind of discipline is incredibly simple. In fact, they've basically removed any barrier to entry. The entire core platform, we're talking the full 5-tranche journal, that automatic stop-loss calculator, the performance analytics, it's all completely free. So you literally have the tools to start building these habits right now without having to spend a thing.
So here's the big takeaway. This is the transformation we're talking about. You go from all that chaos and guesswork to the clarity of a real system. You get to compound your money with confidence because you always know your downside. You start tracking the metrics that actually matter for your growth. You scale into your winners using hard data, not just hope. And most importantly, you protect your capital mechanically, without fail, on every single trade.
So, I'm just going to leave you with this one final thought to chew on. As investors, we all love the feeling of being right, don't we? We put so much faith in our own conviction. But I want you to ask yourself, what if the real key to long-term success isn't about having the smartest ideas? What if it's actually about having the most disciplined process? What if your system, and not your conviction, became your single greatest asset in the market?